Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk. So this is a show where we talk with some top indie creators about whatever I decide to talk about for the week. So every week it's a little different. Every week I get derailed, so be prepared. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We have a great list of guests this morning. So let's start with, like always, some introductions. So Fish, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Fish of Mr. Fish Comics. I am the fastest working man in indie comics. I have worked on 109 books in the last 6 years. I'm almost at $150,000 I've helped raise, and I am the creator, writer, illustrator of Green Zone: Life in the Blocks, which issues 1 through 4 are live on Crankstomper right now. Go MrFish.com. Take you right there.
Awesome. So Aaron, welcome back. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Aaron Wroblewski. I'm the writer-creator of various horror comics for Enenra, which is apocalyptic, Amor Patris, which is my supernatural horror, which is coming out on Tuesday, and Ice and Bone, Blood and Fire, which is a samurai action horror.
Awesome. And Rich, this is your first time on the program. And
it is.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, hey, my name is Rich Davis. I am the writer-creator of the World of Dracula series. So, Cult of Dracula, Rise of Dracula, Reign of Dracula. Probably see a pattern there. And my latest book, Prometheus and Change, just came out in comic book stores last month in trade paperback form. And today I'm here to talk about my next book, Angel Hunter, which is a dark fantasy. My first foray into Kickstarter and my first foray into writing fantasy instead of horror. So
Awesome.
Lots of new stuff.
Yeah, so lots of Dracula stuff, which is great because I'm actually doing a Dracula title later this year for my own book, and that's kind of my first thing out of the Immortal Era universe, which is my normal one, and that's Dracula versus Sherlock Holmes. So it's kind of fun playing with someone else's toys and just, writing, but trying to be true to those authors. But that'll be my first venture. But you've done lots of Dracula, so now you're kind of taking it a different direction.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, Dracula's always fun to write with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have so many different kind of avenues you can go, different like powers and origins and stuff like that. So there's a lot you can do with the character.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, for a while when vampires were the cool thing, when the Twilight Surge and all that, it was, all right, how many different Dracula movies are we going to see? And now it's kind of done. People are over, I mean, people got over zombies, people got over vampires, but everything comes back. So I'm hoping
it's a cycle.
I'm hoping my book brings people back into wanting Dracula, but in the end, it's, you just put out what you think people will be entertained by and hope. And we were talking backstage, and Kickstarter is definitely not an easy path right now. I remember the best years of Kickstarter when during quarantine, when everybody was getting that free money, and shit, you drop a book right around the time of one of those stimulus checks, and I had a book fund in like 45 minutes with 3,000. Now here I am, 3 weeks in trying to still hit that goal, and
everybody was starved for entertainment because there's no new TV because everybody was quarantined. It was prime time. I thought I was going to be so broke. I thought I was going to be out of a job so fast. Turns out I worked so much, my business boomed. It was amazing.
Yeah, and it was the least time you would expect that. And those, I mean, that I did when they first reopened cons, it was the same thing. People just wanted new material. They were flooding the small press and just buying up everybody's. They're just going down the row like, what do you got? I'll take it. What do you got? I'll take it. I mean, you barely had to pitch. So now it's different. You got to work harder to get that, but it's not impossible. And there's still some Kickstarters out there making a killing. So Rich, it's you have a reputation. That's the thing. You're not, the harder thing would be if you're a brand new creator and you want to launch on Kickstarter and you are trying to build your name. That's the rough path right now, but you have a name. So you just want to kind of get those people now to come and get your new product. So it's a different path, and you should be okay.
My mom knows it, so I know I'm gonna have at least one backer.
Yeah, hey, it was my first campaign. I didn't do anything right. I didn't pre-launch it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, hey, everybody's doing this Kickstarter thing. I should just get right in there and do it. And next thing you know, I'm texting every one of my family, like, please don't let this fail. I mean, it's just begging family and friends to help your ass. And then like that.
Oh man.
You're like, all right, I got an issue too. Like, wait, how many issues of this shit are you going to release? We're not here for all this.
Wait, I thought we did this already. Yeah.
Like, we're not going to keep saving your ass. You better figure some shit out between now and the next campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh man, those are good times.
So yes, begging family and friends. It's a one-time strategy, and use it, but don't. They won't let you
abuse
back.
it.
Yeah, that once you get a one and done, and then they're like, no, we don't even actually read comic books. Back the hell off. So.
That's when you start reminding them of all the favors you've done for them over the years.
Don't you remember when I hurt my back moving your couch?
You remember all that free babysitting we did? Come on, you can afford a T-shirt. Come on,
that's worth a $15 comic book. Pony up.
Yep.
And if they're watching right now, they're probably flipping me off, but that's okay. I still need $300 to fund, so remember that.
I'm honestly legit surprised how many like just friends and family still regularly back everything I do. Like the first book or two, I was like, oh, that's sweet. I really appreciate that. But now like 15 books of my own in, the fact that some of them are still getting like all of the swag and the t-shirts and the posters and stuff, I'm like, dang, I really appreciate that. I did not expect you to be that involved, but thank you.
Yeah, and I do have that. I have an aunt and uncle that every time it's every Christmas, Easter, whatever family get together we're doing, they're walking in an Immortal Era shirt. I'm like, damn, that's cool. And they got like all 9 designs, and they're like, look, we got your shirt. I'm like, yes, it's beautiful to see that they're going to represent, even though she tried to read the books, like, oh, it's way too bloody and there's too much profanity and it's not for me, but she's still going to rock an Immortal Era shirt. So. So like, all right, this is you get that. And yeah, I mean, just kind of joking around with the family and friends. Like, obviously the beginning, that's when they're all there, and then they're gonna let you move this thing on its own. But yeah, I mean, I still get some great support from the family and friends, and there's some that have done it since issue 1 and will do any issue I put out. So yeah, that's a good feeling. And now it's getting the strangers and the people that have never heard of your stuff to come in. That's the uphill battle.
That's the biggest struggle, is getting new audience, and even getting the repeating readers coming back as well, because not all who will back 1, 2 will come back for 3. Some wait for the paperback. Some it's a struggle.
Yeah, I got a few that have messaged me like, how long till the trade's ready? Because they know that, okay, I'm on issue 10, I'm close to that next trade, and they're like, oh yeah, just message me again when the new trade is ready. So that means I know they won't be buying 10, they won't be buying 11, they won't be buying 12, they'll be buying the trade after 12. So it's that is a market that's been created from Marvel and DC, because they can get trades out quick. I mean, the turnaround for a trade for them, you wait 6 months, there's your new trade, and it's kind of like binge watching a TV show, and people would rather do that. They'd rather not get the floppies, read it, and wait. And it's like, nope, I'm not going to be pestered with any of your cliffhangers. I want that shit right here, right now, one full story to read.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing with Angel Hunter. We're skipping the floppy phase, and we're going right to the smallest volume that we're doing is going to be 96 pages. The largest is 128. We're going to take the story out over 10 volumes. I also own a comic book store. I've owned stores since 2007. And one of the things I've noticed over the years is a steady decline in floppy sales. And it's transitioning into graphic novels. Right now, 60% of my store is graphic novels. And the remainder, probably 10% of the store is new comics, and the rest is back issues. So new floppy sales are plummeting. So we've got the idea with Angel Hunter to just go straight to what people want. Give them a trade paperback, or at least the equivalent of an Image #1 trade paperback. Those $9.99 Image volume 1s. I can't keep those things on the shelves. They fly off. So hopefully Angel Hunter Volume 1 is gonna follow that same pattern.
I mean,
See, that's good because you have market research in the real world, so you can't beat that.
That's kind of what I'm starting to lean towards, because like you see the people running the campaigns for the graphic novels and they get a lot higher prices. Of course, it costs more to print that bigger book at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it takes longer to get it out, but being as like I'm a one-man show, that I just have to pay my time, keep a roof over my head and feed the kids. Like, I'm not having to pay a team to get the book done, so it's a little more streamlined for me, and it just seems like an easier go, and more people are willing to jump on rather than back a number 1 when they may never see a number 2 or a number 3.
Yeah,
I think that's the big problem I see a lot when it comes to these indie books, and I kind of blame Scout Comics for this, because Scout would put out issue 1 and then never release issue 2. And it kind of burned people. They'd be like, "Oh man, I got really into this story. What happened to it?" And I think that's from what I've learned talking to other indie creators. That's a struggle for them. You might get issue 1 out, but do you make enough money to justify issue 2? So I think the psychology of the market has shifted with indie books, and I think in the near term and the long term future, I think the success of indie books is going to be in collected edition, larger format graphic novels rather than floppies. I mean, honestly, I think floppies are dead. I think floppies just are going to exist for collectors, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the floppies, the people want those keys. So, here's a major first appearance. There's always going to be that. And that mentality of, what if I'm getting a major first appearance of this character who's going to blow up? And maybe like when Red Hulk, when we saw him in the movie trailer, everyone hunted down that first appearance. So I think you'll always have that. You'll get those ones that they want to not only find that major first appearance, they want to get a perfect, clean edition, send it to CGC, get a 9.8, and one day pay their mortgage with it. At least that's what they're thinking in their mind. But they'll never read it, but it's just, this is a key, and that's you sell it as major first appearance in this book, and that's I think how Marvel and DC and Image are going to kind of run things now, is always pumping a major first appearance. And now I've even done it, like when I send my books into CGC, I do get my own floppies graded, and I'll be like first appearance, so that it says it on that graded copy, and it gets that mentality going, that's a major appearance of, major first appearance of some, hero, villain, you name it. But yeah, that mentality, I think the trades are going to be what everyone ends up coming to, but the keys are what people will still run out and collect.
Yeah.
Carissa, how's it going?
Good.
Hey.
Hi, I'm on my bad laptop only because my dog just got back from the vet, so I just want to keep an eye on her. So
How is everything?
She's all right. Of course, I've been home all week. Like, I had the entire week off, and at 11 p.m. last night, I found that she had a ruptured gland, which means she has an open wound, pretty much. So of course it's a Saturday. So, but they actually had a cancellation, so they got me in, and I was there for like 3 hours. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my cat throwing up. That one's all right. So, but anyway, sorry to I just come on the show and be like, hey,
no, you're fine. We haven't even hit our first topic yet. So now we'll transition. What's the weirdest idea that you've put into a comic book or are going to put into a comic book that, you want to talk about? So if it's something you don't want to spoil, something big coming up, that's fine. But Fish, what's the weirdest thing you put into a comic?
I'm torn between a short story I did that was Gary Feldman, assistant district manager of the Multiverse, and the Mighty Caw, the Cro-Magnon. Because the Mighty Caw was just purely a pun that I woke up out of a dream laughing at the pun of Caw, the Cro-Magnon, a big bird barbarian. Mm-hmm. And now there's 4 issues in a source book and all this stuff. It took off. It was a lot of fun. Just he's so chaotic and bloody. It was just crazy fun to do. But Gary Feldman is kind of, you know, I don't know, it more my sense of humor in my brain, and you know, just having to file paperwork and keep all of the multiverse in order and make sure everything's running according to, you know, specs. And then when Cthulhu is about to go into the public domain in one universe, he has to go like kill that Cthulhu before he becomes public domain, and people start sticking him on everything from bumper stickers to crocheted hats to Lego sets, and pouring all this psychic energy into this unknown, you know, entity, and you know, letting him become a big world-ending threat. So he has to go out and kill him first, and it's just it's so funny, and I loved it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because yeah, you can play with so many public domain things like that. It's like, don't let them get to public domain. Spare the world. We don't want to have to see them everywhere. The Cthulhu shirts at Hot Topic. Don't let it happen.
And it plays with the fact that I kind of used to low key hate public domain characters, and now I kind of love them because I've worked on so many projects with them, and I've been swayed to the other side now.
You've converted over.
Yeah, I see the value now.
So, Rich, what's your weirdest idea you've put in a comic book?
Psychedelic roller disco in hell.
Nice.
That would do it.
That was
the weirdest, not the coolest.
This is definitely weird. So, in Rise of Dracula, I believe it was issue 3. Well, back a little bit. I created these characters called the Ruthven sisters, Ellie, Babs, and Lara, based off of the old myth of Lord Ruthven, the vampire. These were like his great granddaughters. They were also vampires. And I thought they were going to be like little one-off characters. You know, I was going to use them in the book for a little comic relief, and that was it. But I discovered I really enjoyed writing them, especially Ellie. She was a lot of fun. And so I ended up just kind of going down this rabbit hole with them. And one day I was driving around and I was listening to an EDM remix of ABBA's Dancing Queen, which that's weird enough already. And I got this idea in my head of, you know, a psychedelic roller disco in hell. And I put the Ruthven sisters in there and they're having fun. Like one of Babs had her, she's basically a disembodied head because her body is now in the possession of a scientist named Victor Frankenstein. So she's in hell. She's just a head. The other two are there. And they just have this really long comedic scene that ends up, you know, I keep going back to it throughout the book. So it was weird, but it also became one of my favorite. It might actually be the best part of Rise of Dracula. Honestly, it was just so much fun to write.
That's cool. And I have a decapitated head and character in my book too, so gotta love that.
They're always fun, aren't they?
Oh yeah. So Carissa, what's your weirdest thing you've done in a book?
I think the weirdest I did maybe was Anubis, you know, the god of death, playing fetch with a hellhound. Was probably my weirdest. I think I'm echoing, am I?
A little bit, but
I don't know how to fix that because I'm upstairs, so I don't know what would make it echo. Anyway, the Anubis wasn't even supposed to be in the story, and I had another character in there, but it was a licensed character that I couldn't use. It was because we wrote the books for fun, you know, we were role playing. So I added Anubis, and the Hellhound wasn't planned either. And we were doing a second series, and there was a Hellhound in that. I was like, oh, well, now I want a Hellhound in the other one. And it wasn't in the story. I was doing the scripts, and I'm like, I'm just going to have the Hellhound bring him a stick. And then Anubis is like, what is this? And throws it and brings it back. So it looks so cool. And now he, for the first, not anymore, but for the first series, the first set of books, he would just carry a stick. The wolf would just carry a stick wherever he goes. And Anubis would just randomly throw it. So it has to be. And I was just like, why am I putting this in here? And I was like, it looks cool. It looks good. But it was just a
background stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just,
that's so fun.
It looked so good. It was so casual. And then to put it in another one, and I think he even had the characters some random characters being like, "Why is the large dog playing fetch with the smaller dog?" And he's just like, I wanted to say it's like Goofy and Pluto, but I was like, that's kind of licensed. Can't do that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it reminds me of cartoons.
Yes, cartoons from the Mouse House.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I think that would have to be the weirdest thing.
Cool. That's fun. All right. So Aaron, what's your weirdest idea you've put in a book?
I'm boring. I don't have any weird ideas. I really had struggled when you put the list on. It's like, what is the weirdest idea you've had in a book? And like, I can't think of one. I'm not weird like you guys.
Well, maybe that makes you weird.
Yeah, that's what makes you weird. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're judging Aaron. Like, I'm not strange.
No idea what's weird about a guy with the first name Fish. I don't see anything weird
not.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, I really struggle to think of. I mean, I've got like cool scenes which I'm really, really pleased with, like the one in Ice and Bone that's coming up, which is funded. There's like a death scene in there that I really. It's the first one I actually wrote for the whole Ice and Bone series, so I am really looking for. It's my favorite death scene in the whole Ice and Bone, so can't wait for Ezekiel to finish that. No spoilers, but it's gonna be kick ass.
Awesome. I love that series.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the weird.
Okay, so you keep it normal. You're the normal guy in the room, so that's good. You can ground us because I'll go off the rails. And
that's weird.
Unless
you
my
go
version of weird
go a couple
so
episodes
warped.
ago and listen to Fish tell about his childhood shit, and you can keep us all sane because that was one. I think that's still one now my favorite topic we've ever done is crazy childhood stuff, and we're all lucky to be alive. That's all I can think. Everyone in that day, we should all be dead multiple times over, but here we are, still alive. Yeah. So
I got a whole story about that too, but I won't bother you right now with it.
So for me, my weirdest one, it's not complete yet, but when I got invited on Lori's Karen show, I wrote an entire backstory for myself. Like I didn't understand the assignment. Just go on and be silly. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking write an entire backstory for a character that I'll play while going on her Killer Karen show. That's all just a goof. But no, I took it way too serious. And then as I'm out doing my run, I finished recording the show, and all of a sudden I'm like, damn, I can make a whole series out of this. So my weirdest thing is not yet published, but it will be called Karen Hunters, and it's about how Karens spread. They create other Karens by their spittle, and that's why they were so opposed to wearing masks. So they didn't want their spittle couldn't spread. So they're creating this legion of Karens to take over the world, and there's a group of select hunters who are immune to their spittle, and they're going to go out and try to kill them, and they all pose as managers in different stores. So that is my weird ass idea. It's all noted out. I've written it's going to be 8 issues, 4 issues on Earth, 4 issues in Hell, because that's where Karens are born. And yeah, that's my weird ass thing that's coming for issue 1 later this year.
Now, if we're talking written, I wrote a story with my daughter on the way back from a doctor's appointment one time about our Chihuahua and her asymmetrical nipples and her being cloned, and everybody wanting to get a copy of this dog because she became internet famous, and everybody got a copy of this cloned Chihuahua with the asymmetrical nipples, and everybody's carrying them around in their little cases and everything, and then everybody gets one, and the consistent shaking at the exact same tempo from all these cloned dogs ended up throwing Earth off of its axis.
Oh,
so that's probably one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard.
There's your weird one. Yeah, that one, it's I actually have hired an artist for my Karen story, so it'll happen. And then the weirdest one that's now, neither one's in print yet, but the other one was the one I wrote when I was in the hospital experiencing eye floaters that had obstructed 40% of my vision, 17 hours in a waiting room. And I wrote out a very crazy story how eye floaters are actually parasites that take over your brain and make you serial killers. And all of this
as they do
entirely in a waiting room. And then the shit that happened to me that was real, like I walked out of the hospital after a horrible day, and I got chased by a homeless woman who was telling me I wasn't real. So it was very weird, but I'm like, this story is writing itself. Holy shit. This is the easiest story ever written because all this is happening in real life. So that one, 2 weird stories coming out this year that were birthed out of opposite things. Like one, me just overthinking going on in a podcast, and then the other one, just a hellacious day. And what else are you going to do when you're sitting for 17 hours in a waiting room but write a story?
Why not?
Yeah. You got nothing else going on, really. So
a lot of the weirdest stuff that is in Green Zone is stuff that like actually happened to me, and then I'm just twisting it and turning it, and then you got like 8-foot-tall lizard monsters shooting blood out of their eyes, but like it's all stuff that really happened, just put in a crazy context.
Yeah, and that's
you found 8-foot-tall lizard monsters that spat blood at you.
Yeah.
Where the hell did you hang out on Friday night?
You can come to where the action is, man.
See, now when I come out for Nashville, I got to make the detour to Arkansas because that's where the real shit happens. So
I'm telling you, you want the real stuff. You need to hang out in that parking lot down there by the Kroger's in the middle of the night where all the kids hang out. That's where the action happens. That's where the crazy stuff happens.
There, in fairness, there is a the short-horned lizard that shoots blood from its eye, so it's not that
crazy. I used to play with them all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
I did not stress them out to the point of shooting blood, but I absolutely love.
I've never seen it in person. I've only seen it in videos, so I don't know what it looks like, but it's probably pretty weird.
Yeah,
that's very weird, but sounds awesome.
Yeah, I don't even think if I watched it in videos yet, but Fish has his character who does it, and that's I guess a lot of things that we get that we put in our books, even though the books are crazy fantasy, they're rooted in something from the real world. So yeah, it's
like I didn't go into Green Zone expecting to make it a book full of furries, but when I was thinking about like the mutations that you might actually get, if anybody could be born a mutant, and like what mutations would you get? Like there are people that can fly and there are people that can like shoot lightning, but I thought it would be much more logical and a lot more likely that you would like say have spots or pointed ears or horns or claws or fur, and
tail would be nice.
So I took things from the real world and put a lot more of that in than there is, shooting fireballs out of your elbows. So like there are like legit superheroes and stuff, but most of the people just have weird anomalies. And I ended up with a whole lot of furries that I didn't expect, but it's been really interesting. Not what I went in wanting to draw, and it was very challenging to learn how to draw like, a guy that looks like an ibex from all these different angles, but it's challenged me and I like that.
Yeah, now you got to go to furry cons and sell it there.
I really should. I'm missing an opportunity and I need to do that.
That's a whole audience you can unlock right there.
I'm sure there's Facebook groups he could find to advertise in.
Oh man, once I go to the Green Zone After Dark books and all adult content, I'll get
profile if you're going to join those groups.
Yeah. Your fake profile, not the Mr. Fish one. Like they don't need to know Mr. Fish exists. MrFurry.com.
Fish needs something totally different.
I've totally thought, man, I was like, if it wasn't for my like strong, moral direction and my need to be truthful and everything with my autism, I'm like, it would be so easy to just hire a pretty girl with a little bit of artistic talent to be the face of my comic books and say she's making them and just crank out books and get rich with people going to back, oh, there's this hot, buxom young chick that's making all these cool books, and but
you become the comic book Milli Vanilli at that point, though.
Yeah. The money you can make, but I can't lie. That's the thing.
Don't ask her to ever draw in public, and you'll be fine. They're like, oh, could you do a sketch for me? She doesn't do sketches. Her rate is $5,000 per sketch.
You hire an art student, that doesn't mind showing her cleavage on camera, and you could be rich.
Oh, then you're not even Milli Vanilli-ing it. Then you have the real deal going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Until she comes out and for the news tabloids and and then you're screwed.
Until she changes a little bit, like every 2 or 3 years as they graduate and go on to get a job and stuff, and you got to hire somebody new. But frankly, most of the fans are just looking at the cleavage anyway, so you probably
they won't notice. They're like, she had a face all that time? I didn't even know. All right. So let's move on to what major artist would you like to hire for your book? If you had unlimited budget, because of course major artists don't come cheap, but what major artist would you love to hire for one of your books? So Fish, we know yours, Cleavage Girl. So
no, actually, like the one artist that I really want to hire would be Drew Moss. If I could just hire him to full on do a book full time, that would be awesome. I can't compete with like Thundercats money, but like I love his work. I love his faces. He did 2 variant covers for me for Green Zone that are now posters that you can get. His image of Bellamy is just this beautiful, tortured, afraid girl. It's uncomfortable in her own skin. It's absolutely beautiful. He kills it with faces. I just love his work.
Nice. So Rich, who would you want to hire if you could hire any artist out there?
Are we talking alive or dead?
There are no rules. Alive, dead, you name it, we're good.
Okay, well, it's probably going to be be a very obvious or ridiculous. I don't know. Bernie Wrightson. I adore, as a lot of people do, I adore Bernie Wrightson's art. It was one of the first things that really drew me into comics when I was a kid. I've always liked the darker and the fantasy stuff over the superheroes. And so Bernie Wrightson's art was very attractive. It's very important in my development as a comic book creator. So if I could, get a Ouija board and summon him from the dead, I would definitely say Bernie Wrightson.
Just
Nice.
tie a pen to the Ouija board and then you can just draw it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm summoning you.
That. It can't be worse than something I could draw.
I will summon. I will send money. I will wire money to the afterlife. Just finish up this cover for me. All right. So Carissa, who are you going to hire?
James O'Barr, because The Crow is what I loved, my first comic book, and I took the graphic novel out when I started scripting for the first time for my comic book, when I was converting my novels to the script. So I would have to say, and I've been trying. So I tried. I met him in person. He has my issue 1 by accident. He was supposed to sign it. I want him to sign 2 of them, and he signed 1. And he was like, "Is this for me?" And I was like, "It is now." So he has my issue 1.
Give it back, James O'Barr. No,
No, it's not.
But yeah, if anyone realizes, my characters, my co-writer named our main character Draven, Eric Draven. Him. I emailed. I wasn't smart enough to ask in person. I completely was starstruck, so I forgot to ask in person. But I've tried email. I've tried to contact his agent just to get like a cover. I don't even care if it's a sketch, but never got back to me. So
hey, keep trying. You never know. He may just one day be like, you know what? She keeps bugging me.
To shut her up, I'm going to do it. Cover. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe I should start trying that.
Yeah. So,
it is an Easter egg. The pawn shop, what is it? Gideon's pawn shop and a crow is in my issue 14 when they're walking through the city while the city's on fire, and it's of course on fire. There's a crow on the Gideon sign.
Nice.
So that's my Easter egg.
Cool. So, Aaron, what's the artist you want to hire if you could hire any major artist?
There's 2. I really don't want to butcher his name, but the Vagabond artist. I mean, is the samurai. I'm into heavy samurai stuff, so that would be absolutely immense having him even just do a cover. So if I pester him enough, maybe I'll just go with Carissa's tactic and just keep bugging him if I can get his contact.
I don't know. I can be pretty annoying. For firsthand, I can be pretty annoying. Can you match that? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Got to step your game up, Aaron, and go to the new level of annoying.
Yeah.
Definitely, just call him, stalk him. You know, like be outside his door when he's about
to
go
line there's a fine line of I'll do your damn cover and I'm calling the cops. So just
hey, I'm ready to push that envelope until it's
I'll go away if you do my cover.
Cops can't help you, man. Do the damn cover.
Yeah.
The other artist would be Fiona Staples, who did Saga. So yeah,
I love Fiona's work.
That was
that would be really good.
Definitely be my my top choice, because I don't really dabble a lot with mainstream, because all my comics are Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah.
I think literally Saga is the only what I'd class as mainstream that I have. So yeah, she'd be my number one choice.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going Rich's way. I'm going beyond the grave, and I'm going to bring in Al Feldstein, because I love what he did for Tales for the Crypt and all of the EC stuff. And that's kind of the books. I mean, the first comic I ever read was a Spider-Man book, but the books that made me just a comic fanatic were old collections of EC. Just reading those horror books. I mean, I guess it was kind of the Goosebumps of my time, what I found. And kids always love scary stories, and they were scary, they were a little edgy, and I just loved it. So if I could get Al Feldstein to do a cover, I would. And I met him at cons numerous times, and I think it was like $300 for him to do a sketch, and I never paid it. Now I just regret not doing that. But I would love to have him do, like, when I'm doing the Dracula Sherlock Holmes book, I would love to have him do that cover, like Al Feldstein doing vampires on his cover. It would be amazing. And then for living, it would be Alex Pardee. He did a big series of baseball cards a few years ago where he made all the baseball players monsters. And I'd love to see him do a cover for my Karen Killers book, where, we got a Karen monster done in an Alex Pardee style, because it's someone I see him at cons a lot as well, and it's rare to find someone who's also a gigantic baseball fan and a comic nerd. So I'd love to have him do one of my things, like he did his baseball card series of monsters.
That'd be awesome.
All right, so let's talk about our last one. Carissa, this was, when I wrote it, you were not a guest, so I would normally keep the music off the show.
So you purposely annoy me then, because I don't do music.
Okay, well, annoying you. We'll just go with that. I never aim to annoy any of my guests except for Aaron, and in that case, I've succeeded. So, what's some music that's inspired your work directly? Maybe even if it's something as simple as you've named a character after a song or something like that. So, Fish, is there any music that's directly inspired your work?
It's weird, but They Might Be Giants is probably the biggest influence on everything that I do. And you wouldn't see it directly, but like, it's one of my favorite bands. It's like fundamentally one of the bands that like makes me who I am. I listen to it all the freaking time. And every time somebody's like, oh, what song would you want to play in your like epic fight scene, in a movie? I'm always like, You and Your Racist Friend, because it's like it's so poppy and upbeat, but I would just love to I think of that song all the time when I'm doing fight scenes and bashing people's heads in and stuff, and I love it.
Nice. So Rich, any songs that have influenced your work?
I can't say a specific song, but I can definitely say a style of music. Music plays a huge role for me when I'm writing. Generally, when I'm writing a scene, I'll have a playlist of 3 songs that I put on loop. And I found that EDM remixes of different songs is very conducive to creating for me. I think it's the repetitiveness of the beats. It almost hypnotizes you, And so, like I was telling you, when I was writing Rise of Dracula, the EDM remix Dancing Queen. So I really do enjoy those. I think those put me in the mindset to create, and like I said, the repetitiveness, it's hypnotic, and it kind of maybe helps me zone into what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's I can see how that works, because I kind of use the same kind of music when I'm writing. It's no lyrics. It's very kind of repetitive, because lyrics throw me off when I'm writing. So yeah, EDM would be good. And yeah, we know your EDM dancing queen led to your weird and amazing Scene in Hell. So definitely works for that. So Carissa, is there any particular song, even though it's not your wheelhouse, that you can say has kind of popped up in your writing?
Probably the Cure. Their songs on the soundtrack are probably the most fitting. But what's funny is when you said that about the lyrics. So if I'm writing, I can have any kind of music on, like words or whatever. But because I don't read it while I'm writing it. But if I have to read it, which could be a little bit of dyslexia, but when I'm reading it, like if I'm ever going to read it over, which I hardly ever do, I have to have nothing on. So it's kind of funny when you said that, because I can't have the lyrics on when I'm reading, but when I'm writing, I can, because I'm not really.
I have to have music going when I'm drawing. When I'm writing, I can't have the words and stuff going because I can't think that part of my brain and listen to the music.
Yeah.
I don't think when I'm right, so I'm good.
So Aaron, any song, any music that's inspired directly into your writing?
I listen to like soundtracks when I'm writing. Generally, Gladiator, Tron, a bit of Last of the Mohicans. I did purchase the Rebel trailer the day we choose to die. I kind of just have them on a mix and repeating, and I just kind of listen to those as I'm writing. Especially if it's a battle or a scene, I'll choose like the Gladiator, the Barbarian Horde or something that kind of get you going. That's generally what I kind of listen to.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, no like words. So
no lyrics. And
orchestral stuff.
And that's what I play. Like my main listen when I'm writing would be Godspeed You Black Emperor, because it's all instrumental and it's kind of weird, and that it's been defined. Like some people will say, oh, it's the music that the soundtrack for the end of the world. So it works out perfect since my book's about the end of the world. And generally it just becomes white noise. But if I turn it off, I can't concentrate. But as far as a direct song that I put into my book, it was this one by Thursday. So this was one of I talked to the band and got the back cover, and they have this song, Paris in Flames. And some of the lyrics from that song had always kind of resonated for one scene that I was writing in the book. And that was where he's saying, discard this message, throw the bottle back in the ocean, rip this page from the history books, smash all the street signs, erase the maps, forget my name, forget my face, because it's going to rain and it never ends. And that's kind of the world ending lyrics that I thought would be perfect. And when I met the singer of the band and he's like, yeah, go ahead, use it in your book. He cleared it with the lawyers and everything. That was great, because even though it wasn't when I was writing, I always had those lyrics in my head, even though I was listening to something different.
Yeah,
and
it's really annoying when you can't use the actual lyrics in.
Yeah, and a lot of times you got to dance around them. But this guy, he's like, no, do it.
I reached out to because the Kasabian Fire is like a little bit in an Enra, the 5th issue.
Yeah,
and I could use the title, but I couldn't use the lyrics.
Yeah,
so I was like, damn it. I spoke to all of them. I spoke to whoever owned the rights and everything, and they're like, no, you can use unless you tell me how many you're gonna do and how and give me some money. And it's like, well, I don't know how many I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
because it's gonna go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, could be a lot, could be a little, but yeah, I mean, it was that's the thing is I've reached out to other bands and most of them are the same kind of thing. They want more, and all he said was, you can print it as much as you want in the book. If you want to make it shirts or something else like that, then you have to get another set of clearance, and we then take some of the money. Yeah. But for just putting it on the back of my book, they were fine with it. So it's nice when they do. And that was one I was kind of following the Carissa tactic. Like, I'm just going to email, and like Instagram, they ignore you. That's what I found, because they just see your message as, and they don't follow you. So you're buried in the back with all the other weird stalkers. But when you're at a concert and they're standing at the merch booth, like, all right, now you're in the real world and I can talk to you. And by the time we were done talking, he's like, that sounds so amazing. I'm looking forward to that. So he let me put him on there. So Anthony,
I told you when I talked to Christian Kane, who's the inspiration for the character Draven. And I was talking to him about it, and I gave him the hardcovers. He wanted to do, well, first he said, if you do a movie, I'd want to be in it. I wanted to say you were too old, but instead he's like 3 times the age. But I was like, well, what I would love to do one day is an animated series.
And then he can voice it.
Yeah, and then he goes, well, then I could voice it. And I was like, yeah, you can. And I want it in writing. So I was like, but it's just funny because somebody else, this was like a meet and greet, and somebody else was like, oh, the pay would be shit or something. I was like, fuck you. But he goes, it's a passion project. You don't charge for that. And I was like, even better.
So, like, I owe you
a lot.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
All right. So let's move on to talking about our campaign. So I know I said if you can write a clickbait, like a kind of a clickbait. What was that? I forget my.
I didn't know there was homework. I didn't do any homework.
No, there's no homework. So Fish did homework. I did homework. So like a clickbait title that would describe your book. So I'm going to put Fish's up right now, and then he can tell us all about his book. So I'm going to pull it up actually. So give me just a minute to share the screen.
Yeah, I've been trying to hone this down to as short a pitch as I can possibly get it, because now I'm pitching several of my own books. So I'm trying to get it down at the table to like something as short as I possibly can for each one, and then see what you're interested in. So it's when being a mutant is a crime, surviving 5 years on the force is the only way to citizenship. And anybody that's born a mutant automatically loses their citizenship. They are forced into these concentration camps called the Green Zones and forgotten about, because they're obviously monsters. They're obviously supervillains waiting to happen. It's just a matter of time before they use their scary, terrible powers to blow up the world. Even if your powers are just, being scaly and shooting blood out of your eyes, you're a supervillain waiting to happen. So the humans shove you away and forget about you, pat themselves on the back. And if you want to get out and make a better life for yourself, you have to prove you're not a threat to humanity. So if you can make it for 5 years as a civil servant and survive, make it through a corrupt system, not get sent to prison for using your powers accidentally, then you can get your citizenship and move out and make a better life for yourself.
Nice.
So we're following issue 1 through 4 is the first shift on the police force as these 4 new recruits try and make it through their first day on the shift. And by the end of the first issue, one of the characters, Bellamy, is being arrested by human cops at gunpoint. By the end of the second issue, their police station has been attacked and blown up. By the end of the third issue, one of the training officers is laying on the ground, possibly dead from an infection because she grabbed Bellamy's arm and got infected by her quills. And issue 4 is immediately after that, in this first shift, their first day on the force, seeing like who survives from the explosion. Does Water survive the infection? Does Virgil, the giant lizard dude, survive having all his skin burned off, trying to rescue people out of the fire? Who lives? Who dies? Who caused all this problem? All kinds of awesome stuff being wrapped up in issue 3. We get introduced to some new characters, find out there's a little more depth to what's going on. There's a new character that gets introduced in this, Sergeant Kim's wife, Danny Kim's mom, this kid here. When trying to figure out exactly what she would do in one scene, I reached out to my friend Mog Park, who's an amazing artist y'all probably know. But I was like, okay, this is a Korean lady. She moved from Korea to America. What would she do in this situation? Like, what would your mom do in this situation? I asked her. And when she told me what her mom's reaction would be, it completely changed who this character was. And she went from just being a side character stuck in to fill a role and make a point and do a thing, to becoming this big complex character that kind of derailed the whole rest of the story I had planned. And it literally had me in tears writing these pages and illustrating them. Like, I was weeping doing this. So I'm super excited for people to get to see it and read it.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. So you are funded. That's a good thing. And
yeah,
I know
we just got funded.
Yeah, I know you've been right with me, kind of like riding the flat line. So glad to see you got to that funded area, and now
that we got funded, unlocked. We just released a new variant cover with Sergeant Kim on there. It also has, excuse me, I'm still getting over COVID. It has a green stripe across the top is a throwback to FSK that published the first couple of issues. Good friends of mine. It's a throwback to that because Travis was mentioning the other day that he really wanted one that matched up with the other books that he had on the shelf already. So we've got this new variant cover up. There's a new tier where you can get all 3 variant covers, and also have the 2 covers that Drew Moss from Thundercats did for me. They are now posters for the first time and are available for the first time ever. So amazing artwork. Go check it out.
Nice. All right. So, Rich, I don't know. Do you have any art or anything you can share? If you do, you can.
Yeah, I threw it in the private chat there. You can go to our Facebook page.
Okay.
It's just Angel Hunter Comic on Facebook.
Okay.
Our Kickstarter pre-launch page should go live anytime. I didn't realize, this is my first time doing a Kickstarter, so I didn't realize there was like a lengthy approval process that you had to go through. I thought you just clicked and boom, it would be up there.
You don't. I got my pre-launch.
It depends.
On before they approved it. So
yeah, it depends. My first 3 were automatically approved, and then the next 3 weren't. And then after that, if I approve, once I get one approved, it takes 3 days. Then if I do it immediately after, because you could do up to 6 at once after you do 6, it's automatic. So now I just do a bunch. I get approved and then I do a bunch. So, but yeah, it really depends. I don't think they have any kind of rhyme or reason to why.
Yeah, it's arbitrary. You just don't know. All right, let me see. I got to get Facebook.
So apparently I am on the wrong side of the arbitration here, because
it's your first one. So I mean, when I'm putting out, she's putting out, what is it, like 14 for you? So
25.
I think this is my 16th in 2 years.
Yeah, so they're at that point they know you're not a scammer. So I think it's when it's your first, they're gonna wait a little bit longer. Something again I didn't know when I was launching my first Kickstarter and knowing nothing. I'm like, oh, let me just press that launch, but I'm like, what the hell? They didn't just approve it immediately. So I did it all wrong and got bailed out by the family and friends. So at least there was that. So let me pop up some pictures, and then also you did your little clickbait article. So here are your clickbait title. So there we go. Here's his clickbait. Angels fucking hate humans. Find out why. So I like that. It's quick, it's easy, and it tells us what we're about to hear. So here's some of the artwork from that. Let me get on there and kind of show
that's what we have cover of that's the main cover of the book by Jordan Dorenzo. Jordan did the interiors on my last book, Prometheus and Chains, which is now in comic book stores everywhere. The trade paperback just came out last month. And this is one of the covers that Les Garner, who's our interior artist, did. Angel Hunter is a seinen manga inspired dark fantasy, following humanity's first strides after being expelled from Eden. And they have to claw out an existence in a world dominated by the 13 fallen angels and an army of kaiju and Nephilim. This is Les's interior art right here. I love working with Les Garner. We were putting our heads together, and we both wanted to do, frankly, I had to twist his arm to get him to do anime style. He was just totally against it. But then he thought anime and manga was just like One Piece and Pokemon and But then I introduced him to Attack on Titan and Berserk and Battle Angel Alita, and showed him that manga style can be serious artwork. So he really, once he figured that out, once it clicked with him, I really love where he went with this art. I mean, he's just been crushing it. And he's really making my story come to life.
Nice.
It does have the Berserker vibe to it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And are you sticking with black and white for it? Okay, yeah, because I mean, I think with the shading and everything you have going on, it would almost hurt it to color it. So yeah,
I think so. Yeah, we were
you're sticking there. That's beautiful.
Our plan was to originally do it in color. But then, manga is, excuse me, I'm actually also just getting over COVID. So, manga is mostly in black and white. So it's a way to pay homage to the genre. The Les's work with shading, and frankly, it ends up saving us quite a bit of money to go black and white because we don't have to pay a colorist. So with Angel Hunter, when the Kickstarter launches April 25th, I think I mentioned this earlier, we're skipping the floppy phase. We're going straight to volumes. Angel Hunter is an epic fantasy, probably the most ambitious thing I've ever written. I see it projecting out or playing out over 10 volumes, which each would have the content of 6 floppy issues. So the smallest issue is 96 pages, and the largest volume is the average is going to be about 128. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck on this. The other great thing is the book is finished. So as soon as the Kickstarter ends, we'll be ready to fulfill. Nice. So I know that's an important thing with people on Kickstarter, or at least that's what I've come to understand. I don't really know anything about Kickstarter. I've participated in a couple of campaigns, but those were usually done by my publisher. So this is the first time I'm actually doing it myself.
I was going to say, I thought you had one that you were advertising before.
Yeah, that was done through SourcePoint Press did the one for the hardcover edition of Cult of Dracula, and then Thorny Comics did the Kickstarter for Reign of Dracula issue 1. So I've never done one myself, but I've hopefully learned a little bit by watching publishers do it.
Yeah,
maybe.
Having it done's a big thing.
Yeah. If you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to give us a shout.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then
I'm sure
we'll put when there's a link, send it and I'll drop it into the chat on the YouTube channel and everything. Once you get that approval, and then I think really once you get it the first time, it gets a little bit easier. They're harder to get it the first time because I know John Westhoff, he switched names for one, and all of a sudden he couldn't get approval when he would just get instant approval with his other name. They had, multiple campaigns linked to it, but yeah, you'll be fine, especially because you have it done and people aren't going to have to wait for anything. And yeah, the artwork is just beautiful. So I will definitely be a backer when it's out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope everyone listening will back it when it comes out.
Yeah, so everyone check it out. I mean, you saw that artwork. If you like that Berserker style, because when you were saying that, that's what I saw. I read through that because someone told me I needed to. And yeah, just beautiful art. So definitely when it's live, get there because you get 96 pages in one shot. So it's almost like a manga that you'd go buy in one of the bookstores. So that will appeal to that general crowd. So
that's what we
know what you're doing because those guys don't buy floppies.
No. And that's what we really wanted to go for. Trying to pay respect to the manga genre or style without, aping it, because we're still presenting this in an American comic book style, but we wanted to respect manga in as many ways as we could. And so, manga is released in volumes and they are black and white. So, it's just a little way of, showing that we have respect from what's inspired us.
Yeah.
Is this going to be comic book sized or manga sized?
It will come out in comic book size. We've considered doing
that.
a smaller manga digest size. Les was concerned that it would negatively affect his art. So we'll see how that goes, because I was like, it'd be really cool to have it in a manga size. People would really dig it. So I think if volume 1 here does well, I think we'll be able to go back and do that.
It always has it as a special add-on.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Where the main one would be the comic book size, but then you have a manga sized one that you can throw in your add-ons, and then the purists can get it. And I don't know how much effort it would be to
do a higher tier
into that backwards manga style, but something else you could look at.
Yeah. See, you guys are a font of information and suggestions already. I'm glad I showed up.
All right, so Carissa, let me pull yours up. So
I just wrote that. I have no idea if that's a good tagline or not, but
where's it at? Is it in the private chat?
Yeah.
See. I'm making it your banner. Let's see.
Because I didn't know I had to do
there we go. I booked you yesterday because someone canceled, so you don't have to worry about the homework. You are here.
We could use it as an excuse. I probably wouldn't have done it even if I knew.
Hey, that's all right. You did it now.
I'm so forgetful.
I was always the last minute one doing my homework on the way to class. So
I would do it during class. Usually the class before the class. But yeah.
All right. So there we go. And then let me get your actual link.
Well, it's funny because I thought the tagline I thought about because well, in the story, it's on its fun level, it's angels and demons and monsters and all that stuff. But at the core of it, it's got the bond between her and Draven, and between an angel and a demon, and they do hate humans, so he's right. But one of the things is, one of the things with that is her soul, controls. She was created from an angelic weapon, and her soul activates this weapon. The only problem is once her soul is used to activate it, she would no longer exist. So the angels keep pleading with her to give up her soul so that she could save the world and the universe. And she had thought about it, but Draven would never let her. So pretty much they rather just watch the world burn than to give up her soul. So they get called selfish a lot and they don't give a shit. So
yes. So that's your guy that plays fetch, right?
That's the guy that what? Oh yes.
The guy that plays
Anubis.
fetch.
Yes, he plays fetch.
So there's Anubis who likes playing fetch with hellhounds.
Yes.
Good stuff.
There's the hellhound in there. I wasn't sure that anyone would like this cover. I love his art. It's a little bit more cartoony than my normal stuff. So I had put it there. And so far people have bought it more than pretty much the other ones. So
ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna look amazing in metal. And I think
that'll look really good.
I think I can do. They explained it to me, and of course I forgot, which is why I never do my homework. It's either white metal with the black on top, or it's black metal with the white on top. I think it's white metal, but I'm not.
Either way, it's going to look really good.
Yeah, it's going to look really cool. Well, I found out that I can do variant covers. There's no minimum for Ready Comics to do metal. So if I want 10 different covers, the minimum is 10 you have to buy. So if I want 10 different covers, I can have 10 different covers for the same price. So I used to ask, what's the best cover to put in metal? Now I'm just like, here, buy whatever the freak you want. So yeah.
Yeah, see what I go with.
Yeah, Ready Comics.
I'm doing the same for my holofoil.
Well, they just started Emboss. I don't know how to say. So I'm going to try that with the next Derek Chew cover to get those collectors to spend even more money. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I do, which I'm planning to might be doing, finishing Ice and Bone the next campaign, doing 3 and 4 together. I'm thinking of doing that as a special for the whole series. It'll be a bit expensive, but someone might get it.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the journal. So I started the journal with the Western because that's more of a supernatural adventure, whereas this one's more of a horror adventure. However, a lot of people like the journal, and I did have to reorder more. And so I had it for this one. So you can get the supernatural creatures and the horror creatures that are in this. You can get the pages for it. If you buy the journal once, all the pages in the future are free as long as you pledge on that campaign that has that page. So you only have to buy it once and then pledge, and then you get them for free. And there's usually 2 to 3 pages per campaign. I think the redemption is probably only going to have 1, but the supernatural has 2 to 3. Whatever cryptids she comes across, then she'll do it. It's supposed to be like Supernatural. For anyone that watches Supernatural and they have that journal, that's what it is. It has a little hint of what it looks like and what it does, and we'll probably add more information to it as they go. So
that's cool.
And there's a lot of add-ons. There is.
Yeah.
I actually did not know there was a max. And apparently the max is 44. Why they just couldn't go to 50, I don't know. But
I never knew that either. I've never gotten that close.
Yeah. So I had 44 and it wouldn't let me do any more. And I thought there was a glitch in the system. So I had waited 2 hours and I went back. Nope, still couldn't do it. So I risked it and deleted 1, and then it let me add 1. So I had to adjust.
So you learned the max, so now we all know, but I don't think I'll ever be chasing 44, so I'm safe.
Well, it must be something new because as you know, I have 18 issues actually made for this series, but I'm only on issue 13, and each one had 3 covers, and I used to always have that and the add-ons. So right there, 3 times 12 is 36, and I had tons more. So that must be new that it's 44.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Told me they had 99.
I was checking out one campaign, one Not Safe for Work campaign, and they had 80 variant covers, and 57 of them were not safe for work.
Wow. That's a lot of art. You're paying a lot of artists. I mean, you got to make 50
They didn't pay that much.
Pay that back.
That's a lot.
Like they were really crappy covers, but they made a lot of money because
I'm sure
they had like $600 tiers for all the covers and stuff.
And people were buying them?
A couple, but it only takes a handful to.
When you have a $600 tier, 2 is a win.
They showed cleavage.
Yeah,
so yes.
There you go.
They had drawn-on nipples, which makes money apparently.
The crappy.
We're doing it wrong over here.
You can combine the some of the add-ons. So if you've got like get issues 1 to 13, you could have that as one add-on.
Yeah.
What I did was I put it's called missed an issue ? And all you do is you buy as many as you're missing, and then in the survey you put which numbers you need.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Oh, that's smart.
Well, I like
and
that.
it saved. Of course, now that you can import, which by the way was really cool, import your rewards. Of course, now they made it that I can't import them. That was the whole thing I wanted to import, so I didn't have to import all these issues. But I'm not going to buy the variant covers anymore. So it's like we're going to get rid of them and then just kind of move on. I did a lot of 3D statues. Feel free to not buy any of them because I hate shipping them. I'm definitely fine.
They got to be so fragile. So that's scary.
I hate them so much. Well, his staff is the bane of my existence. So it has broken. It has it's just awful. I hate it so much. I am starting something new, and I don't know if I'm going to offer it in the Western as a tier, but I'm going to start a Cryptid of the Month subscription box. And I had asked the Westerns, I didn't expect so many answers, but I was asking if anyone wants any information on it, where every month you get a new cryptid sent to you. I got 137 emails that were interested. I don't know if they'll sign up, but I didn't even think that many would be interested. And I don't think that I could do more than 50. So hopefully we'll get a couple that sign up, but I'm hoping it's the same merch as my Kickstarters. But it'll be, a little bit more enhanced. So,
yeah. Hey, whatever works to get them in.
Yeah,
I know. I got my plushie on the way.
Yes, you're the only one. I don't even have that plushie. That was a sample, and I didn't buy them. But I do love gators. Are my favorite, so they're my spirit animals.
Yes.
So
he's coming. He'll hang out with I have the Lucha Cats, which one of my friends. That's his comic book. He does luchador fighting cats, and they're superheroes. And I have the plushies of them. Yeah. So but here's the question. Every time I get something like that, a little plushie, I'll put it somewhere in the house and wonder how long it's going to take my wife to figure it out. And that one was like 8 months. And she's like, what the hell is this? And my daughter's like, Mom, did you know how long that's been there? She's like,
That's funny.
how could you not ever see it? So at that point, she's like, all right, I guess keep it there because I didn't mind, 8 months ago. Yeah. So when your plushie comes, it becomes the Where's Waldo in my house, and how
Nice.
long I can
Let
trick
me
my
know.
wife. And then I'll let you know when she finally
Yeah,
discovers
I
it.
wanna know.
Because my kids will laugh because they
Yeah.
know, okay, you're doing this to see how long your mom notices. And then she's gonna be like, you need to take that down. I'm like, didn't bother you 1
For
month
8
ago,
months?
2 months ago.
For
So
8
8 months
months?
ago. Yeah. So the fact that it was there for 8 months and she just noticed it
Yeah.
made it so it got to stay there. So I don't think I can put it right next to it
Yeah.
because that one's been discovered.
No, that's too obvious.
But
Yeah.
I'll find a new Where's Waldo spot and we'll see how long Carissa's plushie survives in the house before my wife discovers it.
I can't wait. That plushie was the only one there too, and that sold.
Okay.
But I wonder if I should buy more of those. That sold really fast. I didn't think anyone would want.
Maybe that's saying something. You need to get a
Yeah.
handful
Well, I didn't
more.
think anyone would want. It's a nurse. I mean, I knew everyone wanted a nurse, but it's not like you can take off. Well, maybe you can take off her dress. I don't know.
You the
I
prince
made
might
sure
be
they
trying
had-
to undress her, so you don't
Well,
know.
I made sure she has boobs. So because with the Bastel, the cat one, she's supposed to have boobs, and they just did like a top part. So furries will not be happy. But
Piss the
I was
furries
like,
off. Don't do that.
yeah, I was like, you have to have actual boobs for her. I did not like the Draven doll. I'll probably put up for sale for the next one just because I have it. They're only the sample, just like yours. They're only sample.
Okay.
Sometimes I just buy them because I want them, and I just like that. Let's try a sample. Sometimes
Yeah.
I berate them and say, you took too long to make my last batch. You have to do a free sample, and they fall for it every time. Right now they're doing
Wow.
2 free samples because they have my damn hellhounds in customs since like October, and they were
dang.
supposed to. They forgot to ship it with my vampire chameleon bats. So I got the shipment of 2 boxes in and nothing else. Rich says that his Wi-Fi went down. So he apologizes. He disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just went down. I'll come back as soon as I'm on again. Can you let them know? Yes.
Okay. Tell him thank you because I don't know if I'm friends with him. I got to friend him for sure.
You should be friends. I met him in person. He lives here. He lives over here.
Okay. Yeah. It was I think someone else got him booked on the show, but yeah, definitely got to friend him. I love his ideas. His book looks really good. So I'm just kind of going through your 44 add-ons over here.
Yes, there's a ton. I don't even know if I was able to add them all. I think I did. But yeah,
I probably could fill the 44 if I put every one of my CGCs up, but I didn't. So
yeah.
All right. So
that's 44 without back issues because I couldn't put any. So
Yeah.
I think if anyone like the Ken Hunt, the DC artist Ken Hunt, who worked on Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn, his cover is from issue 4 is the most popular. So I did add that if anyone wants it.
Okay.
And I also added Derek Chu's cover and Ivan Tao's cover. So there's 3 you can pick. Otherwise, you'd have to pick the Mist issue. So those aren't even. Those aren't even with my issues.
Yeah.
They're mostly stickers and toys and 3D printed and all that crap. So
Okay. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. I need to put Fishes as well.
Oh yeah.
So that way, if you want to back, you can get it. And you need to know this. If you back Carissa's thing, you're going to have the book as soon as the campaign ends. She doesn't even wait for
7
Kickstarter
days.
to send the funds. She sends the books.
That's right.
I have to wait. I mean, I would love to promise you Carissa style turnaround, but I have to wait because I don't have the funds to pay for all the shipping. So with Carissa, you will get it fast and you blink and there's another Worthy Chaos box sitting on your porch.
Yes, I am so sorry for how many I do. So like I got told by a good friend, I think Chad told me, he's like, you do too many too soon. And I was like, I have so many made. I have to.
Yeah, you gotta keep it moving.
Issue 19 cover is being done as we speak. I am only selling 13 now. And I can only do 4 redemptions this year because, like a fucking moron, I started the Western.
You started a second series.
So I started a second series. So I can only do 4 and 4. So technically, issue 18 that just got done can't be sold until 2026. I think 2026.
Yeah.
So I'm slightly ahead. And somebody asked me, what if they stop selling by then? I was like, yeah, for me anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
So,
books they're done. You just keep them moving, and no one pisses and whines about Marvel putting out a book a month. So I don't know why they should complain about you.
Right? I'm telling you.
Like, oh, Marvel, slow it down a bit, please.
Yeah.
No one's complaining about that.
And for anyone that knows that doesn't find the link, which it is right there, you could search Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter, on Facebook, on Google, and it does pop up. But Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter will also lead you to anywhere. So I always say Worthy Chaos. Granted, 16 things will pop up. And there's always one in pre-launch at least, if not two, and usually one live. There.
You search it up, you'll find more. There's always plenty coming out, and you should be happy. You don't have to wait. I make you wait for Immortal Era. I wish I could be fast as Carissa, but
it's worth the wait. So everyone buy your book.
Then my wife would not just be amused like when I hide plushies in the house. If I decided to spend all our money keeping books coming out once a month, then I would be sleeping outside with the plushie that I hid from her for 8 months.
Yeah, I don't think my husband knows the extent of it. He only bitches and complains, rightly so, when I buy hardcovers and 17 boxes show up because I buy 500 at a time.
Oh,
and he has to carry them in, which, as we say in the South, bless him. So bless his heart, as we say. But they are. I'm so torn on the next book if I should do 2 books because 5 each, or just do 1 for all 5. Now, storage wise, I would love to just have the 1, but then people have to wait longer for a hardcover, and it's harder and more expensive to catch up. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, you keep it moving, and that should be good. No one should ever complain about that. They complain to me when I take too long. So there's no happy medium.
Nobody's ever happy
with the pace of Marvel, or they complain to you. So all right. So I've forgotten to play some of our sponsor ads. I'm going to play a couple of those, and then Aaron, you can tell us about yours, and then I'll briefly talk about mine. So let's. All right, so I'm going to play one more ad, and then Aaron, you can tell us about yours. Yours is still in pre-launch, correct?
Yeah, I sent you the preview.
Yeah, link. I have the preview. So do you mind me putting that up?
Yeah, go for it. It's not going to change. Right. It's ready to go Tuesday. It's a bit late to change anything now.
All right, so I'm going to play one more sponsor ad, and then you can tell us all about it. All right, so Aaron, I'm going to share yours up right now. This is your pre-launch link. So I'm going to put that in the chat, and then we'll show your other one. So that
I did the homework as well in the class.
You did the homework. Hey, you know what? I cannot tell you how many times I've done the homework in class, and now I'm a teacher, and I'd be like, "You should do your homework at home." Like, all right, hypocrite, shut up. But I can't say that. I mean, I guess hopefully no third graders are watching this right now and be like, "Wait a second, Mr. Davis, you're a liar." But I
all
guess
those third graders heavy in the Kickstarter scene.
yeah, they're my best backers.
Oh yeah.
Forget about family and friends. It's all about the third grader. So the link is in there, and then I'm going to pull up the preview link so we can take a look at what's going to be launching. You said on Thursday, right? Tuesday. So
Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, Amor Patrice Tuesday. So here we go. Let me share this and then get that up here for us all to see. So let me say yes. Let's see it. And all right. Tell us a little bit about this campaign.
Okay, Amor Patrice. So exorcisms are real. Not all are officially documented, and not all are successful. So it follows a sheriff of a local town who answers the usual dispatch for a disturbance, which he thinks is just normal, and it's anything but. It's a very close family friend. He goes to the farm, and there's just death everywhere. One of his best friends, Robert, is insane, and he just starts shooting everybody. It kind of spirals from that as he investigates the exorcism that went horribly wrong on the farm. It's like black and white, kind of a throwback to classic horror.
Yeah.
But there is some gore in it, but not too much. It's kind of more tasteful with shadows, and how Hernan Gonzalez, who's the internal artist, his use of shadows is amazing. So it's kind of more suspense, like things in the background, and it gets crazier as each issue comes.
Yeah, I love the artwork in this. It's so dark and twisted, and just kind of serves your story well. Because I have it. What was the previous title it was under?
It was originally titled The Gray Man.
Yeah, okay. So I have the Gray Man one.
Yeah. It changed titles because I did have a publisher interested, and they kept saying, people think the Netflix movie, and there was another movie they mentioned. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to change the name, I have to do it now, because I can't do it like halfway through the series.
Yeah.
So I thought about it for like weeks, couldn't, and I just went, okay, I'll just do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
It would save so much heartache if I had to do it later.
Mm-hmm.
So Amor Patrice is Latin for father's love.
Okay.
So hence the title. So this is a relaunch. It was launched last year and didn't reach its goal, mainly because of, well, I'm hoping mainly because of Thanksgiving and Christmas period.
Yeah.
So I've added some extra. So the collector kits, they're extra, new add-on or new reward tiers, and I've also dropped the price to be in the actual story. So originally it was $300 to be in the story, but now it's $215, but you don't get the artwork.
Oh, okay. So they were going to get the original page before.
Well, no, they were going to get the character. So I was going to commission Hernan to do the character, and you get that, which is an extra cost. So I've taken that out. So you could just be in the actual series for $215. You can. I put it like a little note that you can actually get the pages as prints if you want. So that's a kind of an add-on if you want to add it. So yeah, these are all the collector covers and metal cards, trading cards you can get.
Nice.
And I've decided to do a little differently with the comic bundle, that every 10 backers, one is unlocked. Well, like 25, you get 3. Another 25, you get 3. It's like one. So it's more hopefully get more backers interested because you see what
yeah, that sounds good, and hopefully you get it, because Christmas, I did one campaign that ran through Christmas and Thanksgiving, and oh man, talk about rough. It just people had other things going on, and I did one that was happening during the election that was not helpful either, because everybody was concerned with anything else besides my indie comic book. They're like, I'll just get it next time because I can get a catch-up tier or go into an add-on and grab whatever issue I missed. So timing is everything, and you just don't know. I mean, right now it's it's hanging with the flat line and hoping for little bumps, but you have different tiers in there for people to get what they need. So hopefully this is the one.
Hopefully. I mean, if it doesn't do it this time, then I might just shelve it for a little bit.
I'll tell you now, this could be just a me issue. My best month is January, and it could be because there's the biggest gap between mine. So that could be why. Which I know, like, I always get slightly envious that Lori brings in so much because her backers love to spend money. But I have so many so quick that it's hard for my backers to,
they're not buying, they're buying the book.
They want to read it.
And let me get some plushies, let me get some extra stuff. It's like, nope, because I know as soon as this campaign ends, there's going to be the next one, so they're just going to buy a book along the way. But as long as you keep them coming back, that's really the victory. I mean, I don't have cool stuff to sell them either, so it's harder when you don't make custom hot sauce or anything like that. And Lori and I have already thought about, like, we both have books involving the same thing. So next campaign, we need to do some kind of a crossover. I mean, we both have a decapitated head character. How are we not capitalizing on that? And when we have a campaign that's live at the exact same time.
Both of ours are live, but it's not my Western. But I will say, this last January was my second most, which was I brought in 5,000, which was a lot for me. And this past one, we all know, was good, but that was because of Derek Chu. So I don't know if that was the month or not. But so far, January has been my two best months. But again, it's the biggest gap because I do a Kickstarter pretty much every month, and then I take November and December off. So there's a whole 2 months. So they're saving up their pennies.
So they're going to take those gift cards they got in their stockings and buy some more Worthy Chaos.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do our last two sponsor ads, and then I will briefly talk about mine, because you can tune in any week and hear all about my campaign, which has a couple weeks left. So I think next week will be the last week I talk about it, because then my March is crazy. I have 2 cons lined up that are 3-day cons. So
are you going to Nashville for sure?
I will be in Nashville too. So that'll be, I have actually, like, between now and Nashville, I have four other cons. So I'm going to be busy out there doing the cons for the next few weeks.
Aaron, are you going?
It's time.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. But you're actually,
Fish might be there. So Fish is a maybe.
Pardon?
You're tabling, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I've got confirmation.
We should have all put ours together, but I didn't think of.
I guess we can tell them maybe, because now here you go, Fish. Everyone here is going to be there. You gotta go and get that.
I don't know if you. I want to be near. I want to be near Ed, because Ed brings them over whether he has to trip them or not. So like they go.
I am a nuisance. I am a used car salesman when I get on that.
My big problem with Nashville is the cost of a place to stay. But now if I knew there was a lot of people going, like an Airbnb gets a lot cheaper if you split it with 3 or 4 people. So
that might be worth
I should talk to my mom and see if she wants to Airbnb her house. She's got spare room. Like, hey mom, you like comic nerds, you raised one, you want to bring some more in?
Last time we were literally staying in a basement bedroom at somebody's house with everybody upstairs.
Yeah.
You know what? My mom has a basement bedroom. So let me see, because that's the only reason I can do it, because an airplane, a 2 ways going, round trip is still cheaper than me trying to get a hotel in any of the cities. And that's what I found, is this table ends up being still one of my cheapest tables of the year, because the table's affordable, and the flight, and knowing that my mom lets me use one of her cars, so I don't need to rent a car. I don't have to stay in a hotel because I stay in her house.
That's adorable.
It's nice, and it makes it cheaper than.
We're also all going out
do.
to dinner on Saturday night if anyone wants to join us.
I will be there.
I'll definitely.
So
we'll find a good place. You got to give me some genuine Nashville food because, yeah, it's something I can't get in California.
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple
I remember
of places.
Not Chili's or something. I don't need that.
Nashville.
Was that chicken place was nice? I can't remember.
I don't even know. I'm not from. I know all the California chain.
But one of my favorite places is the Rainforest Cafe. So that was one of my favorite. But maybe we'll do find something more Nashville.
Yeah, Rainforest Cafe. We got two right by my house.
See,
yeah,
they all shut down where
out here.
I visited. Like they're
just in malls here.
This one's in a mall. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only one that I know that was freestanding was Florida, but I think they shut too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they have one in Disney World. I know that. And then there's freestanding ones. I think there's LA and Ontario, so we can get to them. All right, so I'm going to play the last two sponsor ads. I hope I didn't play this one already. Let's see. All right, so that's coming in May. And our last one is Brett. I know Brett. He has his mob animals, and I'm still hoping to get him to do a cover for my Corruptor series and turn my mobster into an animal.
Welcome to Based on a True Story, Volume 6, Tales of the Underworld, where true crime collides with the furry, funny, and fierce world of the Dust Bunny Mafia. This brand new 32-page comic reimagines real mafia legends, Mad Dog Cole, John Gotti, and more, through the eyes of our animal mobsters. Think The Godfather meets Looney Tunes, packed with action, humor, and full-color storytelling.
All right, so I will, as I said, be brief. I'll kind of just give you the quick rundown of my campaign. I'll drop the link in there as well. So this is issue 10 of Immortal Era. And now it's, I'm still trying to keep up with people like Carissa, and she's lapping me, and she's going to be like, I got issue 20 when you're on issue 11. But yes, I will make you wait.
Which one of us are in deep in debt? That's right.
Yeah, so I will force you to wait, but we are on issue 10, so we're actually closing out the story arc of this will be our second trade. We're building to that. That'll come through with issue 12. I gave my quick little clickbait article, and that is terrorist group seeks to destroy immortality. So we're kind of seeing the perception of our heroes in this world. They're not looked at as the heroes there by the rest of society because their goal is to get rid of immortality, because in my book, everyone has become immortal. So in the year 2000, there was a mysterious event that made all of humanity immortal, but with their immortality, they didn't get powers or abilities. They can still age, still get sick. One of our main characters in the story is a decapitated head who continues living on. So they live in the underground, and they're out trying to find any way they can to bring death back into the world, because they know the only way they can truly save humanity is by killing them. And this is issue 10. And when we reach issue 12, we'll be actually putting out that new trade. So I know some people have that wait for the trade mentality. When Rich was here, he was, as an over and over a comic shop, he really knows that wait for the trade mentality. And that's what people do there. The floppies don't sell, it's the trade. So this is leading toward the trade, but we start the issue where the last one ended. We were telling the backstory of this character known as Father, and he's now in the underground looking for his daughter who was taken from him, and he has to encounter these cannibals, and he does not treat them kindly. We get decapitations, we get slicing people apart as he searches for his daughter, who he does not find, but he discovers baby Miguel, who becomes one of our main characters in the story. And he now is telling this character, our decapitated head Dr. Mann, that he needs to arm the underground and teach them how to be better warriors, because they were almost completely destroyed by an attack when our main characters left and went to the surface looking for one of the relics that will bring death back into the world. So lots of add-ons. You can get the issue. We also have our Garbage Pail Kid homage cover. I'll just go to that one by James Michael Hammond, where Ari's slicing up one of the cannibals of the underground. And feel free to scroll through, see what works for you, because like I said, every week we talk about mine. I want to give my guests the longer time to talk about their campaigns. So please check it out, issue 10. And then this is going to be, actually, I'll have a pretty fast turnaround time. I'll be moving more like Carissa speed, because I should be launching issue 11 in April. So for me, that's fast. But we'll do 10. The art for 10, 11, and 12 is all complete. The artist is actually working on the covers for the trades now. So we'll have pretty fast turnaround times this year. So about every 2 months, I'll be doing another Immortal Era issue and sneaking in the floaters, the Dracula, and at the end of the year will be my Karen book. So lots of stuff coming out, but multiple titles, because I don't torture myself enough with 2 main titles. I just need to add 3 more, because now
you sound more like me. I am the poster child of do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend anyone.
I'm coming down myself.
I've learned it by watching you, Carissa. I'm just going to say that. So I'm going to go back for our 80s campaign.
I was going to be smart and only do 4 campaigns this year, maybe 5, and just do Redemption that were already made, and I wouldn't have to spend any money, and it would have been great. And then I went and started a new series, and issue 2 is almost done. So
yeah, that's when I learned from you. Like, let's not just focus on the 2 books that you could do and get people, 4.
Let's make it complicated. Let's make it more to carry to shows. Let's make it more to have to pitch. Make everything more complicated to decorate for the shows and everything.
See?
Well, I'm going the absolute opposite direction. I'm honing everything down to one of my stories after this and focusing on it after Green Zone. Unless the desire for more Green Zone is really big, and then I'm happy to go back and do more of it because I love it. But
yeah, so I should be saying I learned it by watching Fish, and that would be the smart move. Instead, I'm like, let me see how many books I can pack into an airplane. That'll be fun. So yeah,
easy.
Oh man, you should have seen my bags were like, you get 50 pounds. So they were like 49.8. I mean, I'm moving one sticker to try to make it hit weight. And then the trick you really learn is they don't weigh your carry-on. So my carry-on bag was a friggin' brick. And the poor woman who was trying to push it up and close the carry-on compartment, she's like, what the heck's in here? I'm like, don't worry, I'll move it up. I'm like, I'll handle that for you. It's like, don't catch me.
Basically a solid block of wood with all the paper in there.
Don't catch me with this, 110-pound carry-on bag, please. So yes, the things you learn, and let's, now let me think. Let's make more books. Let's have more number ones, because I have it perfect. I have a 45-second pitch that I can tell you about both my books. But now I'll just add some more and complicate my life, because that's what I need. So I need to learn from Fish.
That I didn't make this one issue 1. I really should have, because in the novels, this is a new novel. So I should have made it issue 1, but I didn't. And now I'm stuck for 11 issues.
Yeah.
But I decided to split Redemption into 2 series. So Redemption's going to end on 23, and then Conviction's going to start. And I don't know if I'm going to do Conviction yet, because I'm going to make these And I'm gonna get. I think the whole series will be done by the end of the year, and then I can't sell them till 2026. But at least I could say the series is literally done.
Yes,
but
you're better off than I am.
Oh, my credit card says otherwise.
All right, so you're comic wise better off than I am.
All right, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So all of these campaigns are there in the chat. Fish is funded. Let's get him overfunded. Let's unlock some stretch goals. I am $300 away, so let's get us there. Carissa's funded, but she sets low goals, so let's get her way overfunded as well again. So, and then Aaron, let's get this one funded. So when it's live next week, just drop the link in the chat when we're talking on the show, and I'll definitely pop it up and show it to people because, like I said, next week will be my last live show for a while. I'll do a few con walkthroughs since that's what I'm going to be doing for most of the month of March and first week of April. I have 3 shows in 4 weeks, so I will be out there doing the cons and doing just walkthroughs, but still drop your campaigns in those chats even, and I'll make sure that I showcase them, and let's get Fish to 4,000. Let's try to hit him into that mark so he can keep new books coming out, and let's get Carissa there as well. And of course me, I'll just say, let's get me funded and go from there. So thank you for joining me today. Another fun show. I always appreciate having all of you on here. So you've all come back. So that means a lot. And we will see you next week for our last live show for a while. That's actually me in the chair live, not me walking around and filming at cons. So until then, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
On the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens